It's a financial market, and the OPEC chatter and Trump pressure have talked from $75 to $60 in a backdrop of declining inventories and peaking U.S. oil. The truth, it's about strategy. It's about alliances. It's about who controls the energy and flows in a world that is starting to fracture. And if you've been paying attention to Trump's quiet moves in the Middle East this past month, you know this isn't a coincidence. It's a doctrine. DRW hits it right out of the stinking park, and it's about drill, baby, drill, but it's drill, baby, where? Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Energy News Beat podcast. My name's Stuart Turley, President and CEO of the Sandstone Group. I'll tell you what, it is crazy out there on the news desk today, and I've got a lot of talking points to go over. Let me get to the top stories here. How Republicans got roped into a deal that keeps the IRA and why there's still time to fix it. This is from Alex Epstein, and I absolutely loved interviewing Alex Epstein on the Energy News Beat podcast, and he is a cool cat. Let's go to the next story here. The Wall Street Journal goes full in on the tank for clean energy. This is a great story from the Substack of David Blackman. What a great author and friend of the show. Got another one coming around the corner here. EOG goes abroad, and so does American Power. This story is from the DRW, the infamous or the infamous David Ramsden Wood. And David Ramsden Wood and I and David Blackman are going to be interviewing each other, and we're going to have a discussion about this story. EOG goes abroad. There's a lot to this story, and I'm going to cover it, and then we're going to talk to him, the author, on Wednesday, I believe. The EIA revised its historical oil demand. Can we trust the numbers? Is this price manipulation? This is from Ray Trevino's Substack on The Crude Truth. A shout out to him. It was a pretty cool article. Let's go to the last story here. This is from the EIA information. The EIA, not the IEA. U.S. hydropower generation expected to rise in 7% in 2025 following last year's record low. But I added the question, why are so many dams being removed if hydropower is so good? It's a question we got to ask. So let's go to the first story here. How Republicans got roped into a deal that keeps the IRA and why there's still time. The bullet point behind this or underneath it is the subsidized energy lobby used framing to win Republican negotiations before they even started. But it's not too late to reframe the negotiation starting from a real IRA termination. I'm disappointed in our Speaker Johnson not getting the will of the people and the mandate from this past election and President Trump's, I'm going to use the word, big, beautiful executive orders codified in legislation. Speaker Johnson, please, this is an important article, and you need to understand that we, the people, are tired of paying for subsidies, and whether or not you have a lobbyist in your office, kick them out. We are tired of this. When the Inflation Reduction Act passed 3 years ago, no Republicans supported it. During the 2024 elections, President Trump ran on terminating the IRA's energy subsidies, which the Green New Deal or the Green New Scam, IRA subsidies was the very first policy in Republican 2024 reform. As it stands now, the bill that is before simply ratifying it can change and how you do this. So when the Republicans won the trifecta victory of the presidency, White House, and Senate, why are we even having a discussion right now? This article by Alex Epstein is absolutely phenomenal. Alex goes, I started realizing the answer on Tuesday when I saw a very odd number from Ways and Means on the potential 10-year savings for terminating the IRA, $600 billion trillion. Every remote credible estimate of the IRA's cost is just short of $1 trillion and much higher. How did the Ways and Means Consulting Joint Committee on Taxation miss 400 in potential savings when considering full termination? It's because they were going to waive them for partial reductions and everything else. This is absolutely despicable. In fact, Alex actually even used a very great chart from the Energy Bad Boys, and I've reached out to them as well, and we're coordinating their next time on the podcast as well. So it is great seeing that Alex is using the Energy Bad Boys for his information as well, too. Let's go to the next story here. The Wall Street Journal goes full tank clean energy. David Blackman wrote a wonderful Substack here, and he says, "This is not a story I enjoy writing about since I've held some respect for the Wall Street Journal writer Jennifer Hiller, who did some fine work covering the early days of the Eagle Ford shale development for the San Antonio Express news network back in the day. Sadly, today's piece at the Wall Street Journal is more pro-intermittent energy propaganda from a publication that appears to have plopped fully into the tank these days." David, I just really enjoy hanging with you, and I enjoy your view on everything else. And it is GOP lawmakers are targeting clean energy tax credits to fund President Trump's tax and spending bill. States such as Texas, Arizona are consider rougher rules for renewable projects, which might deter investment in the sector. Proposed changes could significantly raise electricity prices for homes and businesses in several states between 2026 and 2032. She missed the point of this that Alex picked up and David's picked up on as well. It's okay, those nasty GOP lawmakers who are targeting the clean energy credits to help fund the bad orange man bad tax subsidy bill. I suppose we should count our blessings that Hitler didn't accuse the Republicans of pouncing on the favored conservative targeting epithet used in propaganda pieces such as this. She might have had to overrule an editor on that one, but it's the last bullet that especially is objectable. Proposed changes could significantly raise electrical prices for homes and businesses in several states. Now, a rational person, says David, which he is extremely rational, might ask what the basis for such an obviously false assertion. Is there any real-world experience to indicate that these would be the outcome? Heck no, says David. Of course not. The Wall Street Journal based that prominently on a displayed assertion on nothing but a study conducted by a highly biased source. Well done, David, pointing that out. And he goes on further in the article pointing out that again. And again, this is just one more sign, as if we needed another one, that the legacy media is on its deathbed. And I, for one, would like to thank the legacy media for being kind of scoundrels. Otherwise, my podcast and Michael and I would not be enjoying the bandwidth hog that we've created. We've got a lot. We are on track for 18 million reads of the transcript, 2.5 million listens of the podcast this year. We're on track for some serious growth. We've got some great sponsors. And this article from David Blackman's Substack kind of points out why. Let's go to the next story here. EOG goes abroad, and so does American Power. I am looking forward to getting to visit with David Ramsden Wood again, the infamous or the infamous DRW. This article is fantastic. This is on his Substack, the hot take of the day, and it is really covering about some great points. says this is not Merger Monday, but it's news he's been advocating and wanting for a long time. EOG just launched a 900,000 acre exploration concession in the United Arab Emirates, the UAE, in a headline, sure, but it's a signal that the larger U.S. EMPs and EOG particular, it's what's happening now in a global oil markets just isn't about the barrels, as he said in his speech in Tulsa yesterday. 6 times the volume that's produced globally is traded daily. It's a financial market, and the OPEC chatter and Trump pressure have talked from $75 to $60 in a backdrop of declining inventories and peaking U.S. oil. The truth, it's about strategy. It's about alliances. It's about who controls the energy and flows in a world that is starting to fracture. And if you've been paying attention to Trump's quiet moves in the Middle East this past month, you know this isn't a coincidence. It's a doctrine. DRW hits it right out of the stinking park, and it's about drill, baby, drill, but it's drill, baby, where? And I've always said now that it is now ESG has done a great thing to the oil and gas companies. It's drill, baby, drill when fiscally responsible. And this is a fantastic point. DRW, you did great. The Middle East isn't a risk, it's a strategy. What this means to oil, order, and an American power. It's just not about the EOG needing new rock. It's about geopolitical maneuvering at its finest. Way to go, DRW. Again, we're going to be covering this, David and I believe it's 9 o'clock Central, live on X, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And again, the bottom line, EOG UA deal isn't a business win. It's a geopolitical move that tells you everything to know where we're headed. The shale era of the U.S. dominance is giving away to a global chessboard of energy influence. And if you want to know where the next battles will be fought, don't look at OPEC quotas or the rig counts. Look at EOG. This is phenomenal considering the energy realities on Monday's podcast was all about, is the United States a new member of OPEC Plus? This story really kind of hammers that one in. As I go into the last two stories here, I want to give Steve Reese out a shout out over there at reeseconsultingenergy.com. reeseenergyconsulting.com is a sponsor of the show. Please reach out to them. If you want to know where to put in a AI data center, if you want to know if your molecules, you're making all the money that you need to off of a natural gas or oil pipeline, he knows midstream, he knows data centers, and he knows how to get the molecules not only from the Haynesville or from the Permian, he knows how to transfer those all the way to Germany. We've got some great stories coming around the corner from an entire value chain on that. So buckle up. And again, thank you, Steve Reese, for being a sponsor of the Daily Energy News Beat show. I'll tell you, this one is a great story from Ray Trevino's Substack over there. The IEA revised historical oil data demand. Can we trust the numbers? Is this price manipulation? You have to sit back and kind of go, take a look at the numbers and the scope of the revision, and then understand the war that's going on between the IEA and OPEC. So let's cover a little bit of that here. The scope of the revision, historical oil demand estimates upward by 330,000 barrels per day. This change spans the years of 2022 through 2024 with implications of extending it into the 2025 forecast. Where this really changes is also the ability for it to go through and say, wait a minute, how is this impacting the prices? What is this doing to the financial forecast? The reasons for the revisions. The IEA found that the historical oil demand was higher than previously estimated. You have to look at why that is. Now, let's go take a look at critical analysis and sums of the biases. The IEA and the OPEC perspectives. Strengths and OPEC perspectives are grounded in historical demand trends rather than political want to be trends. I kind of look more to trusting the OPEC one rather than the IEA. And you really need to look at who's paying the IEA's bills. They're probably all renewable companies. The crude truth about oil and gas is that we're going to need oil and gas in the foreseeable future. The more we see renewable wind and hydrogen fail, the more we will see natural gas, nuclear, and oil demand increase, and the truth will come out. And from Ray Trevino, that is the crude truth. Let's go to the last story for the day here. U.S. hydropower generation is expected to rise by 7% in 2025 following last year's record low. I asked the question, why are so many dams being removed? And then there are 3 states really to look at hydropower. They're Washington State, Oregon State, and California. I took that information and dropped it in on top of the EIA article because it really did a good job of saying, hey, wait a minute, we're going to start seeing increase in precipitation across those 3 states, but there are a lot of dams that have been removed from those states. Washington State removed 5, shut down 0, confirmed, proposed to remove 4 more. Oregon removed at least 3, and then California removed 5. This is unbelievable. And then California did not even have the water that they needed because of the bad water management. So if we're trying to adhere to energy net zero, we want to keep all electrical generation from water. If the dam's already there and the studies were done and the fish have ways of surviving, why are you removing them? It's about the control. Make no mistakes, the California dams are because they're wanting to control you and control what's going on. It is 100% bad management. Anyway, like, subscribe, share, and we want to give a shout out to Steve Reese and the gang over there at Reese Energy Consulting. Have a great time. We've got some fantastic things coming around the corner, everything from our news updates. We have a new series for energy market updates as a series. We also have the new AI series, and we're taking a lot of new things coming around the corner at the Energy News Beat. And thanks, and have an absolutely fantastic day.